Hi YouTube. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I just came in from outside. It's about 30 degrees out there, or it was. We've got bad weather coming in, so I had bought some Gorilla tape for the kitty house and where the boards for the building come together, there was some gaps. Like air, like a seam where the seams are, there was some gaps. And so I put the Grella tape down the seams and in the corners and different places for them so um, there won't be any cold air coming in, any other spot besides their little door that I made them, which is a flap with a slit in it. Um, so about the door is about, probably I think we made it 6 inches wide and 6 inches tall, so nothing bigger than a kitty can get in there, hopefully. So, yeah, and then I put some more straw down around for them, and I had a piece of, well, I have more than one piece in there, but I have this foam insulation. This one piece is a couple inches thick, and I put it where I have some of their dishes, and I put the dishes up on there. There's straw all around it. I got rubber on the floor, and then I've got, rubber mats, and then I've got straw on top of that. So I got a barrier for the moisture and the freezing temperature, so they should be able to use their body heat. Plus there's two east facing windows, and the roof is black, so when the sun hits it, it does warm up in there. Even when it's sub-zero outside, it's bearable to even go in there, without a jacket. But then they get in their little kitty houses that they have. One's got like a ramp going up into it with a little hole, um, and it's all stuffed full. And another one's like a old 55-gallon plastic water barrel, and another one's an old um, hexagon-shaped coffee table that I had where the front door opens and you could put stuff in the coffee table. Um, I think that's made out of plastic too. It isn't wood. Then I have an old Hope chest, a cedar chest that I still have some horse tack in there, like my bridle and stuff for my horse and different things. So but I got a bale of straw up on top of that, and another little shelf where they can sit with straw on it off the ground in the daytime. And so, yeah, I was out there busy. I'm just going to sit and have my first cigarette and talk about intuition, how my intuition has always saved me. And when I didn't listen to it, I had problems. So. Or when Doug doesn't listen to me, he has problems. He found that out. He knows. He'll ask me things and I'll just laugh. It'll be like, if you don't want to know, don't ask me, you know. So I'll tell you about the most recent one. Was about, a couple weeks ago, I was telling you that he um, was talking about trading. We have a custom VW bug. Um, it's from California, and it's got papers on it when the paint job was done, and it's got a roll bar, and it's a little race car. It's beautiful. It's in my videos too. I've got like it's documentation when it won first a show in custom um in the custom class at car shows. Well, anyway, so this guy wanted to trade a '55 Chevy for the VW Bug, and Doug asked me what I thought. You might remember a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, well, um, something wrong with the Chevy. I knew there was. I said, you'd be wasting your time, and if you do make the trade, you're going to be mad because you're going to be working on a car that wasn't all what they said it was. Exactly. That's what he found out today. There is no steering gear there. I don't know if the running gear was there. The motor, it's basically a new front end with the chassis on a frame, and that's about it. You know, there's no wiring, the wiring harness isn't there. I mean, nothing. So he found out, yeah, what a waste of time. And why do these people lie? Because they can. I mean, there's no way, just the paint job back in the day on the Bug was over $10,000. That's not the body work or the interior. It's got a mahogany dash, it's like leather wraparound steering wheel. It's like, no, but that's my intuition. I knew it. I mean, I told him when he asked me, and he still kept dealing with the guy. And I'm not a big Chevy fan. Maybe a Tahoe, but I'm more a Jeep person or a Ford person. I love big trucks, big 4x. I got to ride in the very first Bigfoot, if you know what those are. Um, uh, it was a Ford truck way back when. We went through a creek, we went through this swampy area. I mean, that was fabulous. See, what year was that? Um, hmm, long time ago, in the 70s anyway, pretty sure. Then they wrecked that one, and it was white, then it became yellow. It was the same motor, everything they used, except they just changed bodies on it. So it was basically the same Bigfoot truck that you see, like if you go to coliseums or sports arenas or those type of. So I actually really got a ride in the very first Bigfoot. That dude and his girlfriend were up at this resort where I lived on the lake. I didn't live in the resort, but they were staying there. I might have went to the store at the resort and started talking to them. I think I knew her, and then that was her boyfriend or something. I don't know. But talk about fun. That's the same creek we drove through. I used to take my bow and arrow on with strings and go bow fishing right at the creek. I could see a fish and just go. Pew. It had to be big enough. You didn't want to be shooting babies, but then all you have to do is some people have like a reel on their line, but I had to pull it in by hand after I shot my arrow. But yeah, that was fun. Loved it. Just walk along the banks of the creek, and when the fish get scared, you just done. No bait, no nothing. So, and I used to, oh, either scale or fillet or gut fish for people. So, 5 or 10 cents a piece. And if they had a couple hundred fish, I'd make some pretty good money. To fillet a fish, it was 10 cents. Um, to gut and um, to gut and scale them was 5 cents. So, and I could do oh hundreds of them. I learned how to fillet fish when I was really young. So I used to sell worms and frogs and minnows to the fisherman and to the resort owner. I'd go seen my, yeah, I'd seen them. My minnows, that's the name of the gadget, the contraption you use to catch your minnows. And then I'd sell them to the guy at the resort that owned that. So I was busy making money, uh, and playing and having fun and swimming every day. And I mean, that was when I was little. When I got older and I lived up there, um, I was remodeling that house, my house that burnt down. But I used to go and get these fish that were called rock bass. They're just like any other bass, except they have red eyes. But I'd get these rock bass for the guy that owned the American Legion in our town, Lake Park, up by Cormorant Lakes, Minnesota. What they call like the boundary water areas up there. A lot of lakes, a lot of woods, hills, just really beautiful area. But I go out on Big Cormorant Lake. My dock was on a mill pond, so I just go out the channel and go out into the big lake and go over to this place called Turtle Island and catch these rock bass. And I'd fillet them and I'd sell them for $5 a pound, which was pretty good money. And I collected um, aluminum along the roads with my wagon and a bat. So I made cigarette money, diaper money, um, whatever else my child needed, and paid for my electric and my phone. And I was happy, thoroughly, thoroughly happy making my living the way I was doing it. Right before that, I was remodeling a house and a whole this dance hall I used to go in with my parents in a restaurant. We turned it into I worked for a guy that and his wife worked for the IRS. And if some of you are not a United States citizen, that's our Internal Revenue Service that keeps an eye on everybody's taxes that they're supposed to pay. But anyway, I had remodeled a house and this dance hall turned it into office buildings or offices inside there. And I got to help them pick out like wallpaper and trim and flooring and all that different stuff in the whole building. And I lived in an apartment in the back of it. And while I was living there, I was taking my baby was under a year old and I would put him in my car with materials for my house. Not with the materials, but kind of close alongside it. The materials weren't like on top of the baby or anything. So anyway, I go out there and work on my house. He had this little um walker thingy that I'd put him in while I was working or, you know, out by me. I'd even fish. I'd put him under a tree on the shore and fish. And he was fine. I'd go feed him and check him, and he was in the shade and made sure nothing was biting him or getting him. And yeah, it was a nice life. I loved it. But anyway, then it burnt down. I think it was attempted murder of my child and I. But yeah, it's a long time ago. Cheers, everybody. So yeah, anyway, intuition, that intuition thing can save your life if you get that any inkling like something's weird or something's off. Really trust your feelings on that because it can save you, you know. Like if you're in a dangerous situation and somebody's got a firearm or something and they're all like crazy or something like that. I've been in those situations. Do you um act? Do you speak? That's when your instincts will really come in handy, in dangerous situations like that. Like, if you say something, is it going to make the situation worse? Or could you maybe stop something bad that's going to happen all by listening to your gut feelings? So, yeah, been there several times, unfortunately. So that's why I trust my instincts and I know that that is a real thing. It's a true thing. How about you? You probably have stories where you just know something's just not right. Those are the type of feelings I used to get going to church. I mean, I loved it. It was better than at home. I'd clean the church, volunteered just to not be at home. I'd spend hours just cleaning the church, you know? Being alone in there was really spooky too. Now I know why. When I was really little, I had no clue. This a very, very old church that my dad, who ended up being a Templar Jesuit, he actually was confirmed there also, the same as me. My mom was confirmed, that was a Lutheran church. She was confirmed in a Methodist church, the same church that Prince went to when he was a little kid. And Prince went to the elementary school that my dad went to called Harris. I used to see him at the grocery store. It was called Glenwood Super Value. I ended up working there, so did my mom and my brother, because when I was a little kid, I found a wallet and it had a lot of money in it, and I took it up to the owner, and it just so happened to be the owner's his buddy. There was oh I no I don't know. Well, the last name was Reichel, but there was two of them. One of them wasn't the Reichel, but the other one anyway. This big chubby guy named Rodney. Don't remember his last name. It was his. It had like $500-600 in there. And they told me anytime, I was about maybe 13, 10, 13, somewhere in there. Anytime I wanted a job, I would have a job there. My brother ended up managing the place. My mom worked in the bakery. I ended up working in the bakery twice. And when I told him I was going to leave the first time because we were moving out into the country, they told me if I ever wanted a job, I could come back and get a job. And I went and worked in the bakery again um, when I was 17 for a while. Same thing. I mean, any job in the store was offered to me just because of my honesty. And they told me again, just for giving them notice and being straight up like that. Anytime you need a job, it's here for you. You know, how nice is that? That's pretty decent. So now here's the really weird thing. That same store I was talking about, there was these people that looked sort of like me, and I saw them, and I was fascinated by families, especially if they were mixed blood, you know. just the fascination of it all. Come to find out, I was actually looking my birth mother, my grandmother, and my siblings in their eyes when I was a little kid at the very same store we shopped at. They eventually moved out of Minnesota, my family did, to California and then to Texas. But that's true. This is all real. My older sister and I have this connection because I was in my mom's belly when she was 2, and or not even 2 yet. She's just about a year and a half older than me. But it's just that instinct thing. She had an imaginary friend, so did I, but it wasn't imaginary. These were actual. She was actually communicating with me, and so was I with her, you know, to this day. Isn't that right, Sissy? It's really true. We can hear each other thinking if we want to, if that's a good or a bad thing. And I know my other sisters and my brother and we do too. But it's that old instincts. Isn't that wild that I actually was looking at my family, all fascinated at a family because I had an adopted brother, but this, what I grew up around, was not a family. It was a fiasco. It was weird, dangerous, loud, chaotic, crazy. Crazy people that act so pleasant out in the public eye. Ugh, yeah, crazy. So yeah, I'm just spending time chatting with you. Not really a whole lot on my mind. Just that instinct thing with the vehicle and, you know, every single time we've ever bartered for a vehicle or went to purchase one or whatever it was, something like that. I always knew, or a person that we meet, I always know if they're going to do something or not. And I always say something. Sometimes I say it in front of them or not. I used to um, just say whatever to Doug. What do you think? I'd be like, whatever. That is already, it's already a no when I'm a whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got a little wore out there. I had to pull myself up on this 2x4, but I had to stretch out in front of me to do it, and that was a maneuver. I didn't want to fall, so I had to be really careful and yeah, and use my arm is doing pretty good. Where I broke my arm and my shoulder, I cut Doug out of a tree. Was okay, but the chainsaw was running, and so I had him on my shoulder. But it was when I hoisted him from falling that the weight of him came back down and it smashed my shoulder, and from here to here. Oh man, this muscle, that ligament right there next to it, and the nerve endings, everything. It was so, my whole shoulder. Um, I did go in for some physical therapy, but I used to do that for a living. I was the aide, the tech, and so it's like, and this woman, it wasn't so much that she was a bisexual rubbing all over me and made some comments. That wasn't the biggest deal, although it was very uncomfortable. It was just that I could do what she was doing for me for myself um, much better because for her to tell me what's going to hurt a nerve ending if she made one wrong move or told me to make some kind of move that wasn't going to benefit me, I ran across that and I didn't want to speak on it. Her boss is my neighbor lady. It's and her husband. They do the same thing. It's like then across the street from them is another nurse. We've got a lot of medical professionals on my road. Um, for the 6 houses that are here. Let's see, one, 2, 3, 4 of us out of 6 houses are medically trained. Isn't that wild? Maybe more. Who knows? Um, there's some people I don't know really well, and I don't need to. A couple of them. Anyway. So anyway, I took matters into my own hand, and I felt better when I stopped doing her exercises and started using my own instincts for the whole thing, it's like, yeah. But anyway, to use it in a dangerous situation, my arm was a little iffy. That's why I was talking the other day, like when you're on a trampoline, um, and you have spotters when you're doing gymnastics, a spotter. If I had a spotter, I would walk on my hands or do what they call a bridge, like bend over backwards and flip. I would if I had a spotter, but I'm not going to do it without somebody there just in case, because, you know, probably not. I mean, I can almost bend over in half backwards with my balance. So, I mean, just to have somebody there when I put my hands down, you know, getting the rest to go over after that. Um, that's the strength in your arms that will do that and the momentum of your legs. You got to be quick, but it's got to be like one fluid motion. But I was more balance beam and the parallel bars um, or the uneven bars, if you know what those are. Those are kind of what I excelled at. So, anyway, my sister, one of my little sisters was did the bars also, and was into horses. So was my older sister. She was into horses. One of my little sisters actually moved out of the house when she was 12 in with the neighbors. She liked them better. Way to go, JJ. Love you, sissy. Way to use your instincts. So don't get mad at me when I'm using mine, you know. I know you're not. Anyway, if you watch, or if Nay or Terry, if you see me, tell JJ I was talking about her. I'm not one to talk on phones. I hate phones. Um, I'm not much of a letter writer. Uh, I'm not much of a gossiper. Um, mhm. I mean, I wrote a letter to my granddaughters and their mom for Christmas, but Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I'm great at communicating. I just don't need to. I don't know. Big families to me, chick gets chaotic and I'm out of there. It's like, yeah, no, no, thank you. Too much drama. I can do that all by myself. I don't need help. So, yeah, use your instincts. Don't ever deny them. If you do, you can end up getting hurt because if you walk, say, like you walk into some kind of establishment and something doesn't seem right, it's probably not. Or if you meet somebody new, and especially if dating, the dating scene, dude, I would never go. I would stay in public, especially if you're like not a fighter or anything. Like, don't ever go alone with some weirdo, male or female. You can't trust people like that just off the bat. Maybe you can, but I wouldn't. People have ulterior motives a lot of times. You would think, well, who am I and what do they care? Why would they do something to me? Who knows, right? I've had bad things happen. I never thought in a million years would ever have happened. But there it was, you know. I was in danger and I never dreamed that I would have so many dangerous situations in my life, you know. Anyway, or things that are actually planned as traps for people. I've seen that a lot. That still happens in my life. And when that happens, now when somebody does something shady to me, they can expect I am going to do something back to you. I will. I just will. Expect it. It may not have happened yet, but it's going to. I guarantee it. Why? Because you deserve it. That's why. What will I do? I don't know. I have no clue. Let's put it this way. I'm allergic to gas fumes. So, like, if Doug comes in here and doesn't leave his coat outside, he's got gas all over it. Well, the next morning when he gets up to put in his foot in his shoe, it's probably going to be like a screw in there or a rock or who knows. Or I'll take his hat and I'll throw it on the floor or just whatever. If something's done to me, I am and I will do something back to you. I guarantee it. Maybe not immediately. It might even be a month later. But whatever I do is totally going to surprise you and it will be very creative. I will wait years and plan something now. And I've not always been like this. So thank you for making me the woman I am today. For all of you that participated in trying to bring me down in your little ways here and there, I appreciate you for giving me the fortuitance to react to what was done. So thank you, you know, appreciate you. sometimes it might be funny. Sometimes I might do something that'll blow you away so bad that you won't recover. And every time you think about it, you will laugh, but it's at your own stupidity and what I did because of that. Those are my favorite, to be honest. I'd rather be a joke towards you than actually harm you physically because it will fuck with you for the rest of your life. And you'll have to laugh about it, and it will be your own stupidity that puts you in that position of giving me that amount of control over you because of your stupidity. I think way ahead, always. Even walking into dangerous situations when I know they are, I plan stuff. I know how people react and what they do in most extremes, you know. Oh, and I'll have one more cigarette with you and then get this uploaded. Yeah. Or maybe not. Depends on where my mind goes. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I did do worse things like, well, not really worse. I don't know. Like, if somebody leaves their hat on a clean counter or something like that, I'll take and throw it on the floor. I'll kick it. I'll flip it over and I'll spray it with cleaner. And so if it's like smelling weird or whatever happens after that, I do retaliate, is what I'm telling people. I will. That goes for these monsters that think they're getting away with jacking people into this one world government and the rest of their shit. All these fucking little creeps that take vacations while you can't. They eat steak when you're eating burger or not a burger or whatever you're eating. My point is, they think that their intelligence level and their superiority over people and their guidance as a human being and a world leader is so much superior to you or I, and I don't take kindly to that. I'm not done with these people, and they can think they're comfortable, but they know not what they do. So they will not be comfortable when I get done laying plans for their lives, just like they're laying plans towards everybody else. And I'm not alone in feeling like that either. There's other people that are out there that know that these liars, connivers, these what do they call them? They're not just shills, but they're like groups of people um make money off of lies. That's why, yeah, I was on listening to Lady Babylon last night, and Dr. Amen loves that saying from Medea, the doctor. She said, the stench of greed stains your soul. Love it. That's, I couldn't say it any better. In fact, that's what I'm going to name this video. No, it's got to be about intuition because I want people to be thinking on their intuitive level. Yeah. That's okay. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a nice week ahead. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.